André Antoine Dumont was a member of the resistance during the dark days of World War II. At the age of 17, she was rescuing Australian servicemen trapped in Nazi-occupied Europe. At 19, she was captured. At 22, she faced a firing squad. In Perth, she visited some of the people she saved, as Sue John reports.
When the Germans invaded Belgium in 1940, a 23-year-old Belgian woman, André de Jong, vowed to rescue and return Allied soldiers to Britain, specifically airmen, who she believed would be the strongest deterrent to Germany. She created the Comete line, the greatest escape route of the European resistance movement. In the years of its existence, over 800 Allied airmen, including many Australians, were returned to Britain. But the cost to this revered lifeline was grievous. 216 Comete members were shot or died in concentration camps. Many more were imprisoned and tortured. All risked their lives. One of the most successful rescue lines, it's a conspiracy of youth. Most of its members were under 25, like Antoine Dumont, codename Nadine. The Germans appeared to fill the room. After a clumsy interrogation, they marched onto the landing. There was a tap at the door. A small, round-faced girl shyly entered. She looked 15. She was just 17. This elfin figure was Nadine, one of many couriers to risk her life taking Allied soldiers to safety. It reads like fiction, but it's true. One of the great stories of heroism through World War II.
When the Germans came in Belgium, we thought the only thing we can do is to make something against them.
What would your friends have been doing while you were involved in such a dangerous situation?
They continue their studies because I don't continue myself. I have no time anymore.
Nadine was recently brought to Australia to participate in an honour ceremony at the Canberra War Museum. An escapist's corner has been created to honour the men and women who jeopardised their own lives to save Australian servicemen. The memorial, a brass plate, is complemented by a showcase of items necessary for the underground couriers to successfully complete their missions. The expertise of the Comete line saved West Australian Ivan Davies.
I was shot down over Germany and walked out through part of Germany and Holland and into Belgium, and then passed to Brussels.
And how did they hide you?
Well, first of all, I was on a farm, hidden on a farm in a rabbit hutch, and then later, when I was taken to Liège, I stayed in above a shop. Then when I went to Brussels, I was taken in hand by a 16-year-old girl, and I stayed with her parents. I was on edge the whole time. You had to concentrate too much to be, well, I would say frightened. You were very aware that you were likely to be in big trouble.
Were there any close calls while you were being hidden?
Oh, yeah, quite a few. When I was in Liège, in one place where I was hidden in Liège, the Gestapo were at the front door, and I went over the back fence. And I just kept going, but when I got about 3 houses up, there was a lady hanging out washing in the backyard, and she immediately knew what was happening, and when people ran away in Belgium or in any part of the occupied territories, they knew what was happening. So she grabbed me and locked me in the toilet.
When airmen were shot down in Belgium, we hide them, we food them, and we find some clothes, civilian clothes, you know. And then when they were 3 or 4, we go. And my job in that time was to go from Brussels to Paris.
Nadine is almost blasé about her near captures, saying the thought of the airmen waiting, hiding in the forests, her love for her country, and perhaps her youth, made it simpler to ignore danger. The line referred to their charges as parcels or children. Sometimes their fear jeopardized the mission.
Once I was in the train with 3 airmen, and a customer came in and asked for her papers. And one airman was so frightened himself, so he showed a matchbox. So I quickly took his paper and say that I am with him because he is deaf and dumb. But in the other side there are two other airmen, so it's very difficult for me. But they knew what they must do, so they showed their paper. And then the customer, a German customer, went away, and one Frenchman said to me, "You are very strange companion, mademoiselle." So we go away quickly, you know, in another carriage.
It was very, very dangerous for the people who were looking after us. That was the big worry that I had, that any wrong move we made could have got them into very serious trouble.
From Paris, André de Jong took the precious parcels to Saint-Jean-de-Luz, then over the treacherous Pyrenees mountains, often swimming her charges across icy rivers to avoid detection. The Nazis constantly set traps for them. One day the Gestapo arrived at Nadine's home.
They arrested my parents and myself. They went for me, but then they arrested all of them, all of us.
And where did they take you?
In the prison in Brussels, and they interrogate me a lot of time, and they beat me and ask a lot of questions, you know, and I say no, and they say, "Oh, if you don't speak, we shot you."